Today I will show you how to make chicken pulao. Before starting with the recipe, I would like to say that I have made a few adaptations to the recipe with the addition of a few ingredients that usually do not go into a regular chicken pulao. But I promise that those ingredients make this dish more healthy and it will be more like a balanced one-pot meal. Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Bumbi. Starting with the chicken, I have used skinless chicken with bones. This is from one whole chicken. In it goes 1/4 teaspoon of crushed black pepper, a tablespoon of garlic paste, and about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. Mix all these very well and marinate the chicken for 30 minutes or while you do your other prep work for this recipe. Next, I will make a Pulao Masala. In a small pan, add a tablespoon of coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds, half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. Stir for a few seconds on low heat. Then add about 6 green cardamoms, 6 cloves, a blade of mace, and just a tiny portion of nutmeg. Again stir these on low heat just for a few seconds and then take them off heat. Now if you do not have whole mace or nutmeg in your pantry, you can add just 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and half a teaspoon of ground mace. Allow the spices to cool down and then blend them to a fine powder in a spice or coffee grinder. And if you are using ground nutmeg and mace, then add those now after blending into a powder, like at this stage. Here are 2 cups of Basmati rice which I had rinsed thoroughly till the water became clear. Then I soaked it in water for 30 minutes. And that time is really very important, so please set a timer for 30 minutes. And then drain all the water through a colander and let it sit like this before it's time to go into the pan. Next, let's prep the yogurt. I've taken 100 grams of plain unflavored Greek yogurt. You can also use plain unflavored regular yogurt. It's only that I had Greek yogurt left in my refrigerator, so I had to use that up. In it, I added most of that spice powder blend that we had prepared earlier. Save about a teaspoon or 2 for later. Add about 1/4 cup of water and then mix the yogurt very well to get rid of any lumps. Whenever you plan on cooking with yogurt, always remember to take out the yogurt from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes before it hits that hot pan. Use a wide, heavy-bottomed pot or pan for this recipe. Please do not use a small pot or try fitting everything in a small pot, because then the end result will be something very mushy-dushy, gloopy, and everything like that. You want to use a wide, large pot or pan so that the rice has space to expand and fluff up. Okay, so I heated 1/4 cup of oil over medium heat. I used olive oil because that's the oil I generally use for cooking, and you can use any oil of your choice. I added some potatoes and I fried them on medium-high heat till they get this golden brown color. Addition of potatoes is my inclusion to this recipe because both my husband and I love potatoes. If you do not like potatoes, just leave them out, as simple as that. Aren't they looking gorgeous? So time to come out of the pan. Next, I like frying 3 dry red chillies. They bring in a beautiful smoky flavor to the oil, but I will be taking them out and saving them for that final garnish. Then goes in some whole spices, 2 dry bay leaves, a teaspoon of shahi jeera, that is black cumin seeds, also sometimes known as caraway seeds. But if you do not get these, do not worry. Just use regular cumin seeds instead. Then 4 green cardamoms, that is choti ilaichi, just a small bit of cinnamon stick, and 1 black cardamom, that is bari ilaichi. Next, sliced onions go in along with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Fry the onions on medium heat till they soften down. You do not want to brown them up too much. When they soften down and become pale in color, add 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. Fry the ginger and garlic on medium-low heat for about 2 to 3 minutes and then add the chicken. Spread the chicken in a single layer so that it gets the maximum heat from the pan. Keep it like this on medium heat for a few minutes. Then turn them around and keep them again like this on medium heat for a few more minutes. After that, lower the heat to low because it is yogurt time. But today we do not have to be extra careful with the yogurt because it doesn't matter if it curdles and separates. In a preparation like this, it really doesn't matter if the yogurt curdles, but still I follow the same rule, like lowering the heat when adding the yogurt and then stir it continuously on low heat after adding the yogurt till it starts to bubble. And why am I doing this in spite of saying that we shouldn't be worried about the yogurt splitting? Because it has become a sort of habit for me to follow these steps whenever I cook with yogurt. You don't have to follow this, but I would say this is a good habit. Okay, as soon as those bubbles appeared, I added 2 teaspoons of salt. And my friends, remember we will also be cooking rice in this, so it is not a whole lot of salt that I am using. The last thing you want is under-seasoning your pulao, but at the same time, if you have any concerns, I leave the amount of salt in your hands. Add according to your preference and choice. When you see that oil leaving the sides, add the fried potatoes and then carrots. I know what you're thinking now. Like, Bumbi, why did you add carrots to a chicken pulao? And I totally understand your concern, but I like adding it. I am not telling you to add. Add it if you like or do not add it. I leave that totally up to you. Next, a cup of hot water goes in. Now cover it on medium-low heat for 25 minutes. At the 15-minute mark, give a stir. The potatoes have almost got soft. Now cover the pan partially on medium-low heat for 10 more minutes. After 10 minutes, I like removing any cardamoms that catch my eyes. Then add the drained rice on the chicken. Very gently spread it out. Remember, my friends, you're handling very delicate rice grains over here and not pebbles or stones. Okay, then I added 2 cups of chicken broth. Usually, regular water is used, but chicken broth brings in more flavor. Remember to use that same cup in which you had measured rice to measure water. So I used 1 cup of water earlier to cook the chicken, and now I used 2 cups of chicken broth. Allow everything to come up to a boil on medium heat. Do not stir or use your spoon at this time. Do a taste test at this time, and if you feel it has less salt, please do add some more salt. I added half a teaspoon more of salt. Then whole green chillies. Adding them whole like this won't make the dish overly hot, but the chillies will release only the beautiful aroma. Then a good amount of chopped coriander leaves. You can also use a little bit of fresh mint. Squeeze about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Next, I like adding some sliced tomatoes. And finally, a drizzle of about 1 or 2 tablespoons of my homemade ghee. Then again lid on, low heat for 10 minutes. 10 minutes done. Give a little taste of the rice. If you see they are still quite hard, then gently move the rice a little bit with your spoon from the side, and if you see all the water has dried up and your rice is still very chewy, then add about 4 tablespoons of water. I didn't find that necessary as I still could see some liquid down below. I also added some frozen green beans, which is again my addition to this recipe. I gently and carefully ran my spoon around a little bit. Finally, I sprinkle that little bit of spice powder that I had saved earlier. Again, cover on low heat for 5 to 6 more minutes. After that, heat off and take your pan off the burner and allow it to sit like this for 20 to 30 minutes. And my friends, make sure nobody lifts up that lid in these 20 minutes because the rice gets fluffed up and all the magic happens with that residual heat at this time. After 20 minutes, using a flat spoon or spatula, work your way through gently from one side and fluff up the rice. As you can see, each grain of rice is separate. You can make out each element of this dish, and when it comes to flavor, oh my goodness, that spice powder blend brings in so much flavor to this dish. Please serve this with a raita and a salad. I will be leaving the links to my raita recipes in the description box. I made a simple salad with cucumber, onions and tomatoes, and it goes so well with this dish. Please give me a thumbs up and do leave a comment for me. Bye bye.